So
Tell him.
within 24 hours, our flight got canceled. What else happened? I lost the audio cable. I almost lost my phone. But for some reason, we have recovered, and we're finally
We're back
gonna
on
go.
track.
We're finally gonna go see a fish tank.
We're back on track. We're gonna go see Esther.
Let's not jinx it though. Let's not jinx it.
We're looking good.
Things are looking better.
Positive, positive vibes only.
Yes. So hopefully, when you see us again, we're gonna be looking at a fish tank together.
This episode might not even come out.
I know at this point.
That's fun.
This is what the country might look a little bit like. There's a windmill off in the distance. Super cool. Very old school windmill. It's just green all around. Amazing.
Hey guys!
Okay, so what we'll do is just a quick introduction.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready to start.
Good. Whatever.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm here with my great friend here. So happy to see you again, Esther.
Me too.
Where are we right now?
Well, we are actually in more or less the center of Holland, very close to Amsterdam and Utrecht, a little bit in between, in a very nice polder landscape.
Beautiful landscape.
Yeah, we have
here.
a lot of protected water birds here. We have lakes. It's a very nice area to grow water plants, and although we grow them inside, but we have a lot of water outside as well. And we are here at the main location of Aquaflora. It's where we have our logistics center and our office. We prepare our orders of aquarium plants from here. And it's also where we have our gallery, Esther's
Beautiful
Garden.
gallery. You're about to see it. So why don't we go ahead and take a look?
Okay,
Let's go.
please.
Here we go.
So this is the warehouse where we keep all of our hardware products. We don't sell that many, but we have some rocks and some wood. So, can I show you my paradise?
Absolutely beautiful.
So, welcome to Esther's Garden. It's a small gallery where we keep different aquascapes created by different aquascapers, all people that we respect and love and admire a lot. And take a look.
Start with this tank. I really like this one. I know that this layout's been up for years because the last time I was here in the Netherlands, this was already set up. They were actually getting ready to take it to some trade shows and stuff. But just huge, impressive patch of a new Musciphalangia here. Of course, my favorite plant, the microsorums. But they said that these constantly flower. It just looks beautiful. All healthy and growing. It's just really, really pretty, and you can see the age in it.
It's been up and running for how long?
I think they said about 4 years now, 3 or 4 years.
They
Yeah.
said they only had it in like little potted portions when they started, and now it's like a huge bunch.
Yeah, really impressive growth. And then I really like this one, of course, too. It's a very classic, not very classic, but just that classic nature aquarium style. The design of the wood and the rocks and stem plants and things like that. Really love this. Also, they do what I like to do typically a lot now with the detail stones at the bottom. Just always adds a really nice natural feel to everything. So, um, big fan of that style of just adding gravel to the edges, the margins. Really impressive dioramascape here, which I was told was put together uh, by their team here.
It's like a
Really cool
Brazilian style.
Yeah.
With like different like layers.
Mm-hmm. I love the way these Rotolos are coming out, nice and red. Love these round leaf shape, and then with the red, just looks really wonderful. Super dig this one.
So many different layers to this, right?
Yes, and then the other thing I really love is the fish choice. So this one, sometimes they call it not the poor man's cardinal tetra, but the rich man's cardinal tetra. This is Cinda Danio Axelrody, the red and blue form, and I love this fish. It is very cardinal tetra like, but these are actually from Southeast Asia, and they have this beautiful blood red anal fin that they flare out at each other. These are really pretty specimens too. So, big fan of the fish choice here. This
like
one's
a metallic color.
yeah. It's a different type of iridescence than the cardinal tetras. I really like this. And there's actually a red form where the blue you see up there is actually like a iridescent red, which you hardly see very often in fishes in our hobby. So there are different forms of this. There's green, blue, and red. These are the blue forms, if I'm not mistaken. We have Stephen Chong's tank. It's currently not running. Both me and John mentioned how
Dangerous.
how much tension this rock brings. I mean, this is really it really does make you nervous. The size of this rock and the angle that it's at. But Filipe, when he showed us this tank, really reassured me because he's just kind of like
Tapped it.
yeah, it's very stable actually, but it's very nerve wracking. You can see that I'm putting quite some force into it. But yeah, good placement on that stone. Definitely adds a lot of interest to the layout. Really like the use of the pearl weed here. You don't see pearl weed used too often in this way, but I think that it looked really nice. And Felipe mentioned to me that this was actually by accident. They used the wrong micranthemum, but it ended up, working out really well. So I love it. In fact, I think I might do a small tank with pearl weed in this way now. I've become inspired by this for sure. Um, yeah, overall, just very clean, good looking tank.
Personally, this is my favorite tank. I like the simplicity of it. It's like classic style, you know?
It's very. This is an older running tank from Dave Chow.
Another top aquascaper from
Very
Hong
well
Kong,
respected
right?
aquascaper.
Hong Kong.
Yes. And yeah, the colors of the Rotolas in the back, really nice, pretty orangish pink.
And the Ember Tetras that match it.
Ember Tetras are amazing. Love it. I like how there's a group here, but there's always a group in the back that schools together. It's almost like the youngsters are in the back and they're always schooling together. It's really cool to see like the behavior of the same fish, but in two different areas of the tank. There they go. See, they just come down and school like that. They follow the lines. Really pretty.
So with like Ember Tetras, the more colorful ones are usually like the older ones that have been in the tank.
Yeah.
The newer ones are less orange, but they're still pretty vibrant. But you can tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, with Dave Chow's style is kind of he kind of made his own style very early on in the hobby, right? Like he has a very specific style.
For sure.
I think it's almost like a phoenix or a dragon, something like that.
Yeah, he likes to do a lot of like animals,
Yeah.
just vaguely like some sort of mystical animal. So dragons and things like that. And this is definitely very characteristic. That top piece driftwood right here that kind of loops back around. That's very, very Dave Chow.
So in this hobby, you can literally grab inspiration from anywhere, right? Like it doesn't even have to be from nature specifically. But yeah, very, very interesting style here.
And I like this big tank too. This really huge one.
This is the biggest tank here.
You can see just relative to how I am. It takes several paces to get across. But what I love about this one is this Stargine Repens carpet here in the middle. How densely it's grown. I've always been a fan of like S Repens grown like this. You can just see this very dense mat of it, and I think it just looks really pretty. And then yeah, these big bushes of Rotala. I don't know.
These are rainbow fish, right?
Yeah, these are rainbows. There's some pork chop rasboras in there. Blue rams, just quite a mix of everything. He mentioned that sometimes they need to take fish out of a tank and they'll just plop them in here.
So this is what you would call like a full-on community.
This is like a true community tank. Yeah, even some rare Congo Tetras. These are the yellow Congos. Definitely less common in the hobby. Really cool fish. Yeah, really neat. Over here, some rare Moncalsia Tetras. I don't remember quite the scientific name, but it is a Moncalsia.
Very good schoolers.
Super good schoolers. They were feeding them earlier. It looked really nice. There's a Venezuelan Cory in here somewhere. I've been a big fan of those. It's just like an all black, pitch black Cory. He was out earlier, but he was not now. When they were feeding them earlier, this whole sand section was just covered in Amano shrimps.
They're like fully grown, full size.
Yeah, he said some of them are 4 or 5 years old, these females. Quick tip, if you do need to get Amano shrimps specifically for eating algae, you do want to buy the smaller ones. The smaller ones eat much more vigorously. As they grow up, their diet diversifies because they're big enough to eat other things, and they'll pick other things over algae. So if you want Amano shrimps for your tank specifically for eating algae, you do want to get the smaller ones. The smaller the better, actually. They eat algae voraciously, but once they get bigger, they get a little bit bolder. Their diet gets a little bit more diverse. They start hogging food from the other fish and shrimps. So get the smaller ones for sure. But another beautiful tank. I mean, honestly, all of the tanks here are beautiful, and they keep they keep the gallery looking really great. I like this, of course, as well. It's immersed and submersed at the same time. I just have been really digging flowers lately, right? And up here, they've got all sorts of different flowers. I see some orchids in here, some really pretty orchids. And we've got Pinnatifida. Some of the Pinnatifida was flowering too. So yeah, really great tank. Of course, love the mister. Pick up one of your UNS atomizers, you know. Yeah, these are great, beautiful. With the rice fish, Medaka, they've been becoming more popular in the hobby. So rice fish, Medaka. I'm definitely going to be using some soon, so look out for that. But yeah, this is, like Esther said, this place really is like a little paradise. All right, hey everyone. This is Felipe Oliviero.
Hello everyone.
he's going to be talking about some of the layouts that he put together and tell you a little bit more about them. So
Okay. So let's start for the 60 centimeters. This one is the standard 60p. This was scaped November 2020 or 2019. I think it's doing now 30 months since it was scaped. Original idea was not to build Iceland aquascape as we see over here, but I think that with the time, with the maintenance team, by just trimming it, and even probably by adding a different plant that was supposed to be on the very beginning, it changed for a nice way. And of course, this one was supposed to be rescaped a few months back, but since it's going so stable, somehow it's bringing a different elements and colors and textures. We decided just to keep it in.
Looks
And
great.
as you can see, the fish, they are quite happy. And almost algae free, but it's still something that we try to improve on this one. But you know, that's a very mature tank with organic waste. If you don't have access to certain areas, it tends to increase the organic waste inside and imbalance a little bit.
this is this
It's Pygmea.
Pygmea?
Yeah, it's
It looks really nice. It's almost like a aerial color in Vietnam. It looks like the way that.
and in some parts it looks like almost a fern.
Yeah.
How it is placed.
Yeah.
It was a casting mistake because it was not supposed to be in the tank, or at least where it start thriving through, because it was supposed to be in some spots. But he found a way just to start thriving away and get it in between the plants. And that wild look, we tended to leave it because I think it looks more natural.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah.
touch it that much. And the way it starts growing in certain parts, it's also look like I said before, like kind of fern. I remember one guy, the Dutch aquascaper, he tried to put it this like an epiphyte plant. But I don't think not so succeed, because it's a plant that it works in rosette. It must be on the soil. But somehow he found a way just to climb all over the wood structure and start growing between all the stem plants.
Yeah, it worked out beautifully. Happy mistakes. Happy
Yes,
accidents.
sometimes this is the thing. Even when we had some shrimps and some fish that can move sometimes the soil, some plants can move some position because they can get unrooted.
Yeah.
And then nature take their time to put it on the exact place they should be. And then
Exactly.
those kind of mistakes will help us in the future just to make it better. So we
Yes.
need to understand nature in that certain way. Which was something that worked quite well, like the Micanthomoids that we have
Yeah.
almost predominant all scape.
I think I'm going to try this now. I'm going to try that Micranthemum.
Yeah.
Bush. It looks really nice.
The way how you trim it, if you balance a little bit the light, it can go also really nice straight towards the light and not just a carpet.
Yeah.
But it depends how you trim it. But it's a very fast growing plant, and you see by the one and Rotolo, you have here Rotolo Green.
Yes.
It's a slight difference on
They
shape,
work very well
but
together.
for a nano tank, it's perfect. But you need to take some out. You see it from that side. This was supposed to be all Rotolo Green, and then this almost covering. So if we don't take it a little bit from there, it's a very predominant plant. We need to keep it under control, otherwise it will be very difficult to control it in the future.
Tell me a little bit about this one.
When I escaped this one, it was just before the pandemic hit Europe. I did artscaping one day. It was March 2020, and then it was supposed to come back home and return to plant it. So unfortunately for me, I could be able to travel again only after 1 year. So the tank stayed here in the gallery, lights off, just artscape, the soil, everything, the gravel, how it was, but no plants at all. Of course, he had a little bit more of details, but maintenance team, I think also the seal of the super glue, if you read a little bit, when the wood starts getting soaked, you can break it easily.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
right.
some pieces of wood, small tiny branches, they are already left. They are not here. They took it off. Like we have something here or there. Some they fall, but somehow I think the more time the tank mature, the wood get a little bit soaked and brownish or dark brownish.
Yeah.
Also, I think it looks far away better even without it, because when we play with different kind of wood, sometimes they don't have the same texture, and we can look to it. What was supposed to be more natural in the beginning, it end up being not so natural at all.
Yeah.
So the idea for this was just to use mostly green plants. In the past, I did some main layouts very colorful with a lot of stem plants, mostly like Rotalas, Luvigias, something that can bring a lot of color. But with this, that is the entrance on the gallery. Esther loves green, didn't want, because we already have so many colorful aquascapes in the gallery on that time. So I have decided just to come with something green, but using something from old school. If you know Takashi Yamano,
Yes.
you always use more in the ferns, narrow ferns like Vallis Nerinana, something that was pointing like using like some kind of curtain, but also somehow using some cryptocorynes that they are more broadleaf plants
Yeah.
that people tend not to use them so much in the aquascaping nowadays, because they tend to get a little bit bigger than
Too big,
usual.
Yeah. I mean, but with this much room and this much space, you have the ability to do that.
And also,
Wonderful.
it was lucky for me because I convinced Esther to use this, not the 4-side view tank, but only with the 3 views, because you have seen when you were here for the last time, we had some tanks that we walk around, right?
Yeah.
So having 80 centimeters deep helped to build and move this structure a little bit towards the back, so we have more room and some play with the shadows, contrast, and highlights in this part of the tank, and later going down on the center. So bring this towards to the front. It gives you some kind of 3D
Yeah,
effect.
the depth. Yeah.
Yeah, and then by using some tiny elements on the back, because this is so close to the front glass, at the same time give you some depth. So that tridimensional part works quite well in this tank.
And actually, me and John really enjoyed seeing the tank from the back, seeing the mound and the way everything was.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting to look at. So yeah.
And also, this is quite nice. This time I did a small trimming in this tank, I think it was yesterday. And I left some openings, as you can see.
Yeah.
There is some openings just to see the curtain itself, the Vallisnerias, and some plants in the back, because it was so full. And this way, the fish, when they get stressed, they usually tend to go on the back. In this way, now they can come through the plants and make it more natural, like they are in the river. And this is why I try to make the openings work well, and also to get some lines, some vertical stripes from the back, from the Vallisneria, so it makes a slight contrast. Since we have the microsortals on the front, you see something thinner, but with the same shape on the back. It's like giving you some infinite look. That was the idea. So this tank has 1.5 years. And this one, well, this one is still under construction. It's not a finished work. For example, the 60 or the 180 are scapes that they have a clear image. They are scaped in the gallery for longer, so they already have the base structure, and we already defined where you should trim and not. This one was scaped mainly to take to Vivarium Exhibition in the Netherlands. It's an exhibition made by hobbyists for hobbyists, and we usually take a tank as big as that to use as display tank for the exhibition itself, because this tank does not belong to us. So the Vivarium Exhibition or the organization, they ask us if we don't mind to have the tank just to decorate for them. And since we promote the hobby in a very nice way, we find an agreement with them. So they left the tank here. We made a decoration, take care of it. prepare everything, and then in the few days before the exhibition, we move the tank over there, place it. When it's over, we'll bring it back. This one, have you visited Lisbon Oceanario?
Yes.
So when we get in, we have something really wide. Yeah, there is some parts with massive volume of plants. Mostly, they are not so mixed together, but we have big groups.
Yes.
The idea here was trying to have big groups. I'm not saying that I'm putting someone's shoes, but trying to make the use of the space, because I think a V-shape is what gives you more depth in the layout. And since this 3 meters by 75, that is also a nice measure that we can use to take care of the space, even for the fish swim freely, because we're going to have fish, not those. Because the tank, when we went, or we sent this to Vivarium, there is one company that runs aquarium that is our partner in crime in these things, goes with us to the exhibition. We'll bring some special fish to put it there. So the idea is just to create a V shape. I intend to mix it up, make a better transition. We need to improve a little bit the lighting system and give a little bit more power on the back, just to promote horizontal growth. But in general, all the ferns, starogene, so to make the things go a little bit slower on the front and also on the center, but somehow have some speed growing plants, like all the Rotalos, as you know, Rotolo rotundifolia, orange juice, Rotolo Green, even don't having the perfect coloration yet. They are very good to take the nutrients from the water, so it keeps all the balance. You see, even some of the rocks and the wood, there is no algae on it. There is even a little bit of lack of nutrients, and by don't have enough light in certain areas, we have some issues on growth on some Pagostemon, Alferi. But in general, what is close to the light is growing well. Ferns, we can see them a little bit brownish, but it's not my fault because I trimmed them last time, and I need to clean them a little bit more. Because all old leaves need to go out, so keep just the new ones, and I intend to do it this tomorrow.
I really like the direction of the wood, because usually with the V-shaped layouts, you have a V shape and then you have the wood. It normally comes in this way, but I like how you have the
It's pointing out,
going outwards. It actually looks very nice that way.
I try to point it out because this will be against the wall, so people can see it from the three sides. And the use of the space, and mostly for the kids, for experience, they like to be on this corner and see all the fish coming out. And this is why I didn't overcharge too much in the front or the mid part, and let it more space on the center. Even when a lot of people is looking, the fish can gather more in the center over here.
Yeah, smart.
But I don't know yet which fish we're going to use over there, because mainly what is more important right now is to have this tank done by end of September.
Thank you so much.
You are
Thanks for
very
showing us
welcome.
around. Really good to see you again. Always a pleasure when I run into you, Felipe.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My name is Felipe Oliveira, and on behalf of the entire crew, I wish you a warm welcome on board of this flight towards Budapest. Expected flying time today is about 1.5 hours.
Can the crew take your seats, please?
I recommend to keep your seatbelt fastened while in your seat.
We've just checked into the hotel in Budapest. Got an exciting day tomorrow. I'm sure most of you know why we're here. I'm not going to say anything yet, but I'm sure you already know. So stay tuned for the next episode. It's been a really fun trip so far.